If you've watched some of the recent videos we've shared, you'll notice that I mentioned our career journal many times. And so I'm sure you're asking, what is it? And so our perspective on this is the resume really is kind of an artifact from a bygone era. It's the single page PDF. It doesn't really tell an individual story. And so what we really encourage users of our platform to do is document their career journal. And so what you do is you add your work experience, the job titles, the company names, and start and end dates, things like that. But really, instead of writing bullets for each one of those, you write your story. So write about achievements, milestones, projects at each of those companies, each of those roles, and really document that, because that will help you generate resumes, generate interview talking points, etc., without having to worry about the base resume. And so to make that easier, what we've done is we've created the ability for you to do this just in ChatGPT or Claude. So if you have the desktop app, it works a little bit better because you can use voice mode. But essentially, you can just ask ChatGPT is just help me add a career journal entry, and so it'll give you a prompt of how to think about it, what it's looking for, how it'll help you best craft it, and then it gives you an example. And so here, actually, I hit the little microphone icon and I just talked to it and I just gave it kind of my story, my narrative. And if you notice, it caught a mistake. So I gave a time frame in here, which was the incorrect time frame, and it actually caught that because it has access to the rest of my work experiences, my career journal entries, and I realized that I gave it the wrong time frame for the work that I did at a particular job. And so help me correct that while I was doing it. So what this does is, you end up with these journal entries and ultimately you build this library. So as I mentioned in our profile, we certainly have kind of work experience here where, we have the different roles and titles and things like that. But really what the value of this is, we have these career journal entries. And so if you look here, each one of these now is a specific journal entry that I did, and you can associate it to a job or a role. It could be unassociated. So you may be doing work at a nonprofit, volunteer work, that kind of thing, which isn't really related to a work experience role, but still relevant potentially in your job search. And so for the one that is added, for example, I'll open it up here, but it turned my narrative, my words into this context. So it correctly tagged it to the right role, said it was a project, and there's a few different variations in here, captured the narrative and the story, and then teased out the specific like the bullet point type of metrics in there, and then added a bunch of tags that it would use when it searches this for the next time to help write a resume or help me prepare for an interview. And so what I really ask people to do is think about it like this, right? So if a student that is currently in an internship, what's going to happen is they're going to work the month of June, the month of July, the month of August, and they're going to go back to school in September and kind of forget what they did. But if they are now using GigHQ to document their career story, to continue to every 4 weeks go back in, add journal entry, what projects, what milestones, what achievements. Now that becomes a running kind of diary of what you've done. And so then you're not scrambling at the time when you need it to go and find that information. And this is especially relevant because this happened to me when I started to work on my resume after I hadn't touched it in about 10 years. And I sat scratching my head. I couldn't remember what I had done, when I had done it, what I had worked on. I really needed someone to prompt me. And so you can really think of this as your coach in terms of helping you really tease out what you've done and your arc and your journey. And it's especially useful because if you start documenting it when you don't need it, then it will be ready when you do need it. So think about that.